photo? Sure. I need some new photos for the website.
My name's Arthur. I'm from Ithaca. I moved back here a few years ago after the pandemic. The pantry has been really important to me for the last few years as I've been in recovery from substance use addiction. In order to get sober, I had to quit my job. I had to move out of my apartment, and I was not able to work. And food insecurity became a real thing for me. And I became very much reliant on things like the Salvation Army in order to make sure that I, have meals every day. In order to maintain a certain quality of life while I've been on public assistance, the food pantry has been a really great resource in order to get, especially things that are nutrient rich.
So my name is Jennifer Colvin. I'm 55 and I work at the Ithaca Kitchen Cupboard, which is the food pantry based out of the Salvation Army. We're not part of the Salvation Army, but we rent space from them for many, many years. I've always been very interested in food insecurity. We're such a wealthy country. It always sort of bothered me and just amazed me that we have people in our own communities, people that we know that don't have enough to eat every day. So one of the things we like to do recently is ask our clients certain questions on the menu that they fill out. So we learn a little bit more about either what their needs are or how satisfied they are with the food that they get from the food pantry. But one of the questions that we ask them is, how much of your food do you get from food pantries as a whole? And we found over the last 4 months, we got over 500 responses. And 50% of respondents say they get at least half or more of their food from food pantries. And 30% of people said they only use the Ithaca Kitchen Cupboard. And I think that's probably partly because we are one of the only food pantries that is open every day of the week.
Hi, my name is Amanda Palmy. I am the Director of Community Impact, and I've been here at the Food Bank of the Southern Tier for 8 years. My job is sort of like the kitchen drawer that random things fall into. Anything that involves getting food out of the building to the community members or to a partner agency that is distributing that food, I have a hand in. There is only one constant thing in food banking, and it is that food banking is always changing. When I started in 2018, it was a different world than what we experienced during COVID. And today is even more different than prior to COVID and during COVID. What has been consistently changing and increasing is the demand for support, an increased need for food assistance from our community members. Not only is the finances challenging for our partners, most of them are volunteer-led, and the average volunteer at a food pantry is a 75-year-old woman.
My name is Joan Barber. I'm 88 years old, and I've been doing food pantries for 57 years. I started when my fourth child was 1 year old in 1958. And for the first 20 years on this pantry, I was open 4 days a week over at the other site, and maybe at this site in the beginning. But now we're open 5 days a week for an hour and a half each day, from 1:30 to 3 o'clock, or from 1 o'clock on Friday to 2:30. We give out whatever food comes in. The food used to be donations of a can and a quarter years ago. Right now, the food bank handles the federal foods, the state foods, local donations, and they buy a lot of food. So we buy from the food bank now, but we don't have to pay for federal foods.
Smoothies. All right, and we've got 3 yellow squash.
Doris is here right now. She's 91. And Pam, I don't know how old she is, but she used to work at Ithaca College, teach math. I think the people that come in, I don't even know where they're from, but they look at this place like a welcoming, giving site. They don't have to show their ID. They don't have to qualify. I don't care what age they are, where they live. They're just welcome. And that's a good part of this.
I would say above all else, it would be really providing dignity to people who may not know how to find help for themselves.
2022, we served over 14,000 people over the year. In 2025, we served just over 20,000 people. So that's a 40% increase. And I think that's definitely due to all of the price increases, the inflation. We are expecting perhaps some of the SNAP cuts that are coming will also affect people. We haven't seen that so much. And I think it's because it's a gradual effect. It's not hitting everybody all at once, but we are expecting to see some changes there.
As of recently, I've been receiving around $280 in SNAP per month. And then all of a sudden, at the beginning of April, it went down to $100. And I don't know why, but I've just kind of been having to figure it out and remembering to try to maintain a proper diet without access to the grocery store. I use the food pantry to make sure that I'm supplementing myself during this time when access changed so quickly that there wasn't really time to prepare for it. Yeah, and it's hard once I became not reliant on SNAP, but once that was part of the puzzle that I didn't have to think about, I was able to work on other pieces. And yeah, to have that, like I was just starting to figure out sort of a routine and a good budgeted grocery, making that $280 shopping list last for a month. Now I have to completely change that plan. I am a single man. You know, I live by myself, but I find it hard to make $100 in groceries last a week. And for myself, for my budget, $100 has to last at least 2 weeks, if not longer sometimes.
The rising cost of groceries for families is actually making families make a decision whether or not they buy groceries that week or pay for their rent, buy groceries that week or pay for their car payment, buy groceries that week or pay down that medical cost or that credit card bill or whatever it might be. So in order for families to stretch their budgets as much as they can with the rising cost of groceries, we're seeing more families rely on emergency food programs like pantries or community meals and the food banks to help just bridge that gap. We need the government support because relying on donations is not sustainable. An example of that is we are seeing less donations from families that would frequently donate a little bit here, a little bit there. But with the rise in gas prices, the rise in grocery costs, rent, medical costs, all of these increase and they just don't have it to give. So if we're not getting it from the community, where is it going to come from? This is why we need really good supports at the federal level, the state level, at the county level, at all levels of the government and within the community. It needs to be a symbiotic relationship that we all support each other.
Ithaca has a really great history of giving. The community here really cares about itself, and places like Salvation Army really speak to that.
I think we're a very caring community. And so I think the services and the things that people have available to them here is probably better than other places. So I think although the problem is difficult and challenging, we have a lot of services, a lot of food pantries available. And so that is something that I feel good about Ithaca and the way we've responded to problems that are really even happening around the world.